Hello everyone. So today we are going to do lesson number 9, text translation activities and exercises. So let's start. Lesson number 9, वो सोती apari. वो सोती apari means your outing in Paris. So in this chapter we'll see what are the places we can visit once we are in Paris. वो सोती apari, your outing in Paris. Avant votre départ, before your departure, vous devez acheter, you have to buy a guide de la région, a guide of the region. Guide in the sense guidebook. Consultez le Pariscope, consult Pariscope. Pariscope is a guidebook. Pour vos sorties à Paris, for your outings in Paris. Le cinéma, the first outing. Le cinéma français est célèbre dans le monde entier. French cinema is popular, is famous in the entire world. Les films français passent en français. The film French film pass in French. Et les films étrangers and the foreign films en version originale, in original version, or ou en version française, or in the French version. Les théâtres, theaters. Le théâtre est très vivant en France. The theater is very lively in France. À Paris, in Paris, il y a plus de 115 théâtres, more than 115 theaters. In Paris, there are more than 115 theaters. Vous devez être assez bon. You have to be quite good. En français, in French, pour apprécier, to appreciate une pièce de théâtre. To appreciate a French play. Les musées, the museum. So let's go on to the museum. Yeah. So museums. Bien sûr, vous allez au Louvre pour voir Mona Lisa. Of course, you are going to see Mona Lisa et au Musée d'Orsay and Museum of Orsay pour les impressionnistes, for the impressionist paintings. La ville compte beaucoup d'autres musées. The city has other museums as well, and there are some interesting museums as comme le Centre Beaubourg. Centre Beaubourg is a museum name. Et les musées spécialisés and the specialized museums. For example, le musée d'automobile, Museum of Automobile, qui se trouve au Mans, which is found in Mans. Mans is a city. Not city, rather, quartier in Paris. Les autres sorties, the other outings. So let's see other outings. So other outings are over here. Il y a les opéras, there are opera houses, les discothèques, les concerts, the music classique, classical music concerts, the jazz music, the rock music, ou the pop or the pop music. À Paris, in Paris, il y a des salles de spectacle, there are shows houses, très connus comme l'Olympia, very famous like Olympia. Vraiment, really, il y a beaucoup de possibilités. Really, there are a lot of possibilities in Paris. So, this is the end of the text translation, students. Let's move on to the activities based on the text. So, first one, quel type de film peut-on voir au cinéma de France? What kind of movies we can see in French cinema halls? So, it's written on peut voir, we can see les films en version originale, in original version, et en version française and French version. Second question, qu'est-ce qu'il faut pour apprécier une pièce de théâtre? What one should do to appreciate a French play, a theater play? Il faut un bon niveau de français. So you should have a good level of French to appreciate. Question number 3. Que trouve-t-on au musée du Louvre? What do we find in the Louvre Museum? So on trouve Mona Lisa. We find Mona Lisa au musée du Louvre in the Louvre Museum. We find many other paintings as well, but according to the text, we have to answer Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa is called Joconde in French. Nomme quelques musées de Paris. Name some museums in Paris. Le Louvre, Louvre Museum, Musée d'Orsay, d'Orsay Museum, Orsay Museum, you can say, the Centre Beaubourg, etc. These are some museums in name of Paris. On peut aller à Paris. Where can you go in Paris? À Paris, in Paris, on peut aller, we can go, aux opéras, to the opera houses, aux discothèques, disco bars, au concert, to the concerts, etc. Through dans le texte, find from the text, l'autre verbe pour voir, another word for voir. So it's regarder, regarder. La forme nominale de sortir, the nominative form sortie is la sortie, S-O-R-T-I-E. Le contraire de vendre is acheter. Opposite of sell is acheter to buy. Le contraire de quelque is beaucoup. Opposite of some is a lot. Beaucoup. Un autre mot pour célèbre, another word for famous, is connu. C-O-N-N-U-S. Connu, famous. Now, students, we have letter writing in this. So let's see what is that letter about. So in this letter writing, we have Ton ami va visiter Paris. Your friend is going to visit Paris. Écris-lui, write to him. In lettre, or later en décrivant while describing ce qu'il doit visiter à Paris. What places he should visit in Paris. So first of all, we write the place name and the date. We are writing the letter on and we are writing the letter from. And then we address here the greeting. Cher Namir, dear Namir, comment vas-tu? How are you? Tu viens à Paris? Are you coming to Paris? Question mark. Très bien. Very well. Tu dois voir. You should see a film en version originale. You should see a French movie in original version. Au cinéma parisien. In cinema hall. Parisien means Parisian. Related with Paris. So Parisian cinema hall. You should see a French movie. Je te conseille d'aller aussi au théâtre. I'll also advise you to go to the theater. N'oublie pas, don't forget, the visiter to visit les musées, the museums, les opéras, the opera houses, et les discothèques and the discotheques, disco bars. Amuse-toi bien, enjoy yourself well, ton ami, XYZ. Okay, so this is the letter for to a friend regarding um, visit of Paris. Now, next question we have, students, is activity number 4. In this activity number 4, we have to discuss about indirect object pronoun. So let's discuss. Here, first of all, we have to identify indirect object in the sentence and then we can write indirect object pronoun for it. So first sentence is Il parle à Martha. Il parle à Martha means he's talking to Martha. So à Martha is indirect object here. So for this, I have to write indirect object pronoun. And since it is masculine singular, so it will be lui. Instead of a Martha, it will be lui. And that lui will be placed before the verb. Parle is the verb. So il, lui, parle. Lui is coming from Martha. Second question. Nous donnons un livre au professeur. Au professeur is indirect object. There is also the way to identify whether it is direct or indirect object. A accent or AU. Here you can see UX, accent, A accent everywhere. So that indicates it is indirect object. So au professeur, again it will be lui, and we have to write before the verb. So dono is the verb, so before dono. So nous lui donnons un livre. Question number 3. Tu téléphones à ton ami. À ton ami is the indirect object and it is a feminine word, feminine singular. So whether it is masculine singular or feminine singular third person, it will be lui itself. So tu lui téléphones, right? S will be there here, right? Question number 4. Ils écrivent souvent à leurs parents. They often write to their parents. À leurs parents is the indirect object, and I have to write indirect object pronoun for it. Third person plural number, it will be leur. Je, moi, tu, te, il, lui, elle, lui, nous, vous, il, leur, elle, leur. So, ils, leur écrivent souvent. Souvent is often. It's not a verb, so don't get confused in it. Question number 5. Je parle aux amis. Leur, and before the verb, je leur parle. Question number 6. Ils obéissent à leur professeur. So, single professor is single person, so it will be lui. Il lui obéissent. They obey him. Question number 7. Nous avons dit la vérité à nos amis. À nos amis is third person plural number. So, à nos amis is third person plural number, so it will be nous leur avons dit la vérité. Remember, if it is passive composure, we have to write COD or COI both before the verb, before the auxiliary verb to say. Question number 8. Vous allez répondre à votre mère. So, à votre mère is third person singular number feminine word. So it will be lui. And that has to be placed before répondre because it's a case of two verbs. So when there are two verbs, it will be placed before the second verb. So vous allez lui répondre. Vous allez lui répondre. This will not be there. So you have to write this answer over here. And we have finished activity number 5. Let's move on to activity number activity number 4. We have finished on activity number 5 now. This is also the same kind of exercise but in question and answer format. Répondre remplace pronom direct et indirect. So direct and indirect both are there, which you have to understand. Tu envoies cette carte à ta sœur. You are sending this card to your sister. So what we have to do for cette carte, we have to write COD, and for à ta sœur, we have to write COI. So cette carte it will be la, and à ta sœur it will be lui, and both will be placed before the verb. So it will be oui, je la lui envoyé. Since tu is there, so it will be converted into je. You are sending, so I'm sending like that. Question number 2. Vous donnez ce cadeau à vos parents. So ce cadeau is COD. À vos parents is COI. So ce cadeau I'll write le, and vos parents I'll write leur, and this will be written nous, le, leur, dono. Both will be placed before the verb. First COD, then COI. Il s'intéresse à ton ami. This question is rather different. You can avoid it. So il s'intéresse à lui is the answer. So don't focus on this because this is different than your prescribed um, topic. As-tu écris cette lettre à ta mère? So cette lettre will be COD, à ta mère will be COI, la, lui. So je, la, lui, écris. Ils parlent à leur professeur. So here it's just one, it's lui because the indirect object, it will be we, il, lui, parle, right? So this was activity number 5, students. After that, we have some proverbs writing here. So few proverbs I'm telling you, little proverbs. The first one is written avon de tat autant de tat autant d'avis. So too many cooks spoil the broth. This is the first one. Second one is il faut battre le fer pendant qu'il est chaud. You should strike the iron while it is hot. Next one is mieux tard que jamais, better late than never. And the last one, fourth one is ce sont les tonneaux vides qui font le plus de bruit. So this is the empty whistles make the maximum noise, right? And here are some information about le lieu important de Paris, the important places of Paris. First is Eiffel Tower, second Louvre Museum, third one is Bateau Mouche, this one, Bateau Mouche. Next one is Petit Train Jardin d'Acclimation. So this is a garden scene and you can have a toy train ride. Second last picture is about Notre Dame. It's a monument, and the last one is here is about a music greva, in which we keep the statue, the statue of wax statues of famous personalities of the world, right? So this is done, students, and after that we have the last. The only one question we have to do. Let's do it here. First question. In this, what we have to do? The red ink one we have to change into indirect object to noun. Okay. So che demande, your work is easy since it is already indicated. Ate jami, so it will be leur. Je leur ai demandé. Je donne ce document à Mademoiselle Perrin. Mademoiselle means Miss Perrin. And this is Louis. And I have to write with non, tu ne lui donnes pas ce document. Ils ont parlé à leur professeur, c'est passé composé case, so it will be put before avoir. So, ils leur ont parlé. Question number 4. Je dois écrire à ma mère. So, non, tu ne dois pas lui écrire. Question number 5. Vous voulez parler au directeur? Non, nous ne voulons pas lui parler. So, here there is a case of two verbs, voulez and parler. So, we'll write before parler. Here it is, lui parler. I'm writing before the verb. Question 6 is tu ne parles pas à ton frère. So, à ton frère is lui. I have to write oui. Je lui parle. Tu will be converted into je. You into I. Vous will be converted into nous and je both as you like it. And if it is negative case like no, so you have to write no plus verb plus pa and then direct indirect object in that manner.
Okay, question number 7. Donnez-vous des romans à vos amis? So, à vos amis will be leur. Non, je ne leur donne pas. So, before the verb, leur. Avez-vous offert des cadeaux à votre sœur? Lui again. Oui, nous lui avons offert. So, passé composé, so before. Auxiliary, avoir. Next question, question number 9. Tu veux parler aux enfants? Here, two verbs cases there. Oui, je veux leur parler. So, leur because aux enfants is written plural. Question number 10. A-t-il écrit à ses amis? So, it will be no, il ne leur a pas écrit. So, no and pas I'm writing before the verb. A, this is our verb. And leur is written before even our. So, il ne leur a pas écrit. Right? So, student, this was the explanation of lesson number 9. Hope you understood the maximum portion of it. And you can watch it. You can watch more in frequency to get it better. Au revoir, bonne journée.